All right. Welcome back and thank you for coming on over. How you doing, man?
Hey, buddy. How's it going? What you up to?
Oh man, I had the best morning into afternoon. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm waking up. So first of all, I go to sleep late and then I wake up early, right? And
Mm,
I usually wake up early so I have this just like a couple hours to myself, right?
mm.
Um, because I have wife, daughter. As soon as I wake up, I just hate to like jump straight into like parenthood. I know that sounds crazy,
I mean,
but
understandable. Thank-
yeah, but like this morning I woke up, I had made some like eggs or whatever, nice little two slices of toast or whatever. Ate breakfast. I got to watch like a couple things on YouTube and just kind of like enjoy my morning.
Hmm.
But as soon as I like sat down to go eat or whatever, of course my kid wakes up. She goes, she's talking about some like nonsense or whatever. She like as soon as she wakes up, she's kind of like me, where we wake up and we're like, all right, what are we getting into? You know?
Mm.
And she wakes up, she's like, Dad, I want to play Minecraft. And I'm like, dude, it's early. Like, why don't you try to eat some breakfast? She wasn't about that. I made her a bowl of oatmeal anyway, where you make the oatmeal, drop a spoon of peanut butter in it. She
Mm.
goes nuts
Yeah.
for that. So I made her some oatmeal. She's sitting on the couch. She starts munching on the oatmeal a little bit, playing Minecraft. She's learning like all these shapes and letters at school, and I just thought Minecraft would be like okay,
But
right?
is this like the classic Minecraft, or is
Yes.
it like the? Because I know there's a education edition or something like that,
hmm
but I think that might be
I think it's
like
PC only for the education because I tried to
might
put
be.
that on.
Yeah.
And but I mean, either way, she's just learning so many things, and so I was like, sure, you can play Minecraft, talking about colors and all this other stuff. So she's playing that. I finished my eggs. I finished this video that I'm watching about like unsolved mysteries, which we should totally have an
Oh
episode
yeah.
on unsolved mysteries.
Hell yeah.
But I'm doing a lot of research there, just trying to look into this stuff,
Let's
the
do it.
unexplained. Um, so we keep going and we're sitting on the couch. I feel bad because I kind of snapped at her because I'm like, dude, this is my time. You fucking woke up. You're pissing me off. Like I kind of snapped a little bit, and I felt bad. I sat there and she was being very quiet. She's a good kid and she's, just sitting there. So I'm the dad and I'm like, hey, you want to go get some fucking donuts? Like mom's asleep. You want to go? You want to go see what? Do you want to see where I used to go when I was your age? And we get dressed, we're quiet, we go down, we go to Krispy Kreme. She watches the donuts get made right in front of her, went bananas over it, ate
Damn.
it, and the best thing happened. Okay. Have you ever had a friend where you're like, hey man, let me show you this
Never had one.
music? Ugh,
Yes.
fuck you. And you're like, let me show you this music. And the thing is they fell in love with your music.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's happened to
And
me as well, where a friend has come up to me and be like, "Hey, listen to this," and then I'm like, "Oh, damn!"
Mhm.
So it's happened both ways. Yes.
Yeah. And the thing is whatever feeling you got when that friend appreciated that sound that you resonate with,
Hmm.
amplify that by like 100 when it's your fucking kid that
Oh
does
yeah.
it. So I have a favorite artist. My most favorite rapper, his name's Aesop Rock.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
not ASAP Rocky. He's good in his own right, but I'm more of the Aesop Rock
Hmm.
person. And he has a new album coming out. And one of the songs is it's about technology, super deep, and just kind of like how humans are just spiraling out of control. And the essence of the song is once it's out of the bag, it's out. Like there's no putting that cat back in the bag. Technology's out. It's going to continue to evolve. It will never stop evolving until we're like robots or something like that. But the thing
Hmm.
is she made me replay not that song, but the entire album twice.
Damn.
And she loves it. She loves it.
You,
And in a time where,
you
you're
guys were in
all
the car doing this?
yeah, yeah, just driving. Man, I drove around the block like 4 times instead of just coming straight home just so she could listen to this music. Because he's very underground. Not a lot of people know who he is. Um, just for her to kind of vibe with that sound just made my whole morning. So yeah, then we came home. We chilled a little bit. She's singing bits and pieces from his song while she's messing around on her Nintendo Switch.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it was a solid morning, man. How about you?
Yeah,
I know
that's
it's
nice. That's very wholesome for sure, man. That's
yeah.
having a moment like that with your kid, you know, like you said,
Oh,
like
dude, it's
when it happens with a friend, it's like already kind of cool because you know the opposite when it backfires when you're like, "Yo, check this out," and you kind of hype it up for them, and then they're like, "Oh, I
this
mean,
is gay.
it's all right," and you're like, "What?" Like your
Yeah.
world just you know
Yeah.
when
I'm
that
that
happens,
friend,
oh,
dude.
fuck, I hate that, dude.
I'm that friend. My music taste, I'm so picky. Like I have a really good friend of mine that just tries to show me music all the time, and I'm like, nah, man, this ain't doing it for me. And it's like his
Yeah.
lifelong mission to find something that that matches with my
It's kinda
sound. I have a
hard, yeah,
very
because, like,
yeah.
you kinda like, even if you're, like, your bestest of friends, like, even when it's, like, you know, you're really, really good friends, you've been friends for, like, a long time, like, even, like, you and I, for example, like,
Yeah.
we've been friends for, like, forever, and even though we know, like, everything about each other, there might be, like, definitely, like, in music and stuff like that, there might be, like, slightly different, you know, tastes that we have and that we may think like, "Oh, well, we're so similar that I'm sure Brandon's gonna love this," and then you'll probably be like, "Yeah."
Nah.
Which I mean, it's
It's
fine, but when that happens, like, I just remember, like, back in, like, school or whatever, when you're, like,
mhm.
so excited to show your friends whatever it's not just music, like, just, like, a show or whatever, a TV show, cartoon, whatever, and then,
Yeah.
like, you're so excited about a certain topic, you show your friends or you tell your friends about it, and they're like, "That's gay, bro."
Yeah, like, nah, man,
And
this
you're
ain't
just
it.
like
This ain't it.
your just world just shattered. You're
Well,
like,
that's the thing. Like he always hits me with like, dude, you're gonna love this. Like there's a breakdown because like
"Mm,
my musical taste is very broad. Like I will get into like freeform jazz, I will get into rap, I do get into
mm,
heavy metal, black metal, all that stuff, right? And he knows that I have a wide variety, but
right,
there has to be specific things in those specific genres. Like, you know, I mentioned freeform jazz. Like it has to have a certain wave that I'm looking for. Like it can't just be a bunch of noise, but it also can't be so streamlined that it just sounds like jazz. You know what I'm
mm,
saying?
right,
So, and then with heavy metal, there has to be there's a chord, and I'm sure you know because you play guitar, but there you have to play in drop D
mm,
because that is what resonates with me. And then when it goes louder than that, it stops becoming metal and more of just rock, right? So
mm,
he's like, "Bro, I got this," and he shows me this song, and what I'm about to say is going to come off so chauvinistic, but like the song starts and it's like, damn, dude, this is gonna be good. And then a girl just kind of like jumps on
mm."
and starts like singing, and I'm like, nah, this ain't it. Like
Yeah,
the
you know, that
chords,
happens to me a lot where, like, the melody and everything, like, the instrumental part is just, like, on point, and then
yeah.
out of nowhere, like, when like, a voice comes in, fuck, dude, I just
If it's
ruined
not
it.
the right voice,
Yeah.
it just takes you out of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wherever that melody took you.
Yeah, and I hate that,
And the
and it's kinda crazy because like, you know, that happens to me a lot with, songs from, I mean, I love them, but it happens to me with a lot of their songs, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like,
oh yeah,
they have, like, really, like, good intros and stuff like music, and then, like, it's not like the voice is the wrong voice because, like, you know, like,
it
they
just
have
doesn't
great
match the
music.
beat.
Yeah, but, like, there's something about it's like, if you coulda just kept that or they, like, switch up the melody or whatever, and it's like, "Oh, dude, but that was so perfect." Like, I think it's
What's the
like,
most famous song that does
Snow?
that?
I think it's Snow? Is it called Snow?
Dude, mine is Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. It
Oh,
starts
dude, yeah,
off
that's like another one, classic, yeah.
like it starts off like I want to like kick in a fucking door and just like be, you know, like it resonates power. And
Yeah,
then it just totally flips and you're like, what the fuck,
yeah,
man?
dude,
Like this could have been so great.
and I,
But you
like,
said
feel so
Snow?
bad. Yeah, Snow, it's a very famous one. I don't know if
I'll
I
have to
play it,
look into it.
I don't know how it will sound on here, but
Yeah.
yeah, like that's one of the ones that like, and I again like I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I have great music, but like some
Yeah.
songs I just prefer if they just like kept like the initial melody and tempo and all that, and then all know they
Yeah.
just come out with like they like switch it up, which is fine, but it kind of for me personally it like ruined the what could have been a really cool song.
Yeah.
But and I like always felt bad like thinking that because like everybody loves Red Hot Chili Peppers, like
Yeah.
but
And I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah, and I just that one's the first that came to mind. But you're right,
Yeah.
like, Crazy Train's another one that
Dude, that song could have
also
been
kind of like
so much
ruins
better.
it. And there's a few like that. Now I can't think of any other ones, but like there's a few
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, I love this, and then boom, ruined.
Yeah. But and he just tries to find it. And I feel so bad because the thing is I'm always sitting right next to him in a car. We're pulled over or in a Walmart parking lot. Something just weird.
What y'all doing? Jerking off or
No, nothing like that.
okay?
But he'll be waiting for my reaction. Have you ever just like fucking head bobbed and was like, yeah, out of just
Oh,
respect?
dude, that's so uncomfortable, dude. Damn.
I do it all the time. It's so bad, man. But I do it because I don't want that person to feel like.
And the thing. The worst thing is like we've probably all been on both ends,
Mm-hmm.
like because like I've been on. Yeah, I can definitely recall being on both sides of that. Where like when you're on the showing side, where you're like waiting, like like your eyebrows are up, and you're like, yeah, and you're just waiting for a response that you're never gonna get. And then
like
when
that.
you're on the other end, when it's just like, yeah, like you said, like your head bobbing, and you're like kind of like that fake smirk that you kind of,
Yeah, and you try to pass it, but what's hard is when the person doesn't realize it and they just keep the song going.
Oh, dude, if for some reason you didn't express your dislike, like even if it was like a more discreet dislike, and you didn't express it enough so where they realize, okay, this guy, because I think I'm pretty good at detecting when like someone didn't really dig whatever I showed them. Like I can be like if I guess because I've done it myself, I can tell when someone's like just being polite, being kind, and be like, oh yeah, that's cool, but really they're not really into it.
Yeah,
I'm
and you just turn it down a little bit and you talk.
Yeah, and then you're like, all right, whatever. But when you don't do it well enough to the point where they get the point, they get the message, and they really think like you actually like loved it,
yeah,
dude, and then they just like bombard you with the same kind of shit. You're like, oh no,
yeah, dude. Oh, it's so rough. It's so rough.
And it's awkward too, because like, what do you say? Like, nah, dude, this is shit. What the fuck?
and that's the thing. Like when I show my kid music, this is the one thing I absolutely love about having kids. Is like they're just honest, Oh,
yeah.
And so right now, my kid's genre, is dubstep, wholeheartedly. Okay?
Really? What is it?
Yes. There's a dude named Marshmallow. She loves that guy. She wanted to be Marshmallow for Halloween. But I started showing her like 2008 dubstep, my dubstep. And then the thing is like they have so many more cool songs now. But like I'll show her my stuff and she's like, Dad, this is bad. And I'm like, is it? I was like, I love this song. She's like, no, turn this off. I'm like, shit, okay. But I showed her this.
Hit as hard or no?
Oh, sometimes like and it's crazy too, and maybe I can take a lesson out of that too, because she was honest and she's like, "No, it's not. This isn't good. Turn it off." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was," and then I'll just turn it off and I'll try to find something new for her. She really likes. There's a dubstep like remake. I'll have to get the artist or whatever. I'll have to get their name so I can share it, but. They did a Smells Like Teen Spirit dubstep mix.
Okay.
Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it to the fucking wall. It's amazing. And I showed her that. She absolutely loves it. She calls like my music rock star music because it always has like that metal twist into it. I don't know. It's just really cool. I love it when she does that. And she'll find things and she'll want to show me. And then sometimes I'm like, ugh.
Because I can imagine that as a parent, like you know, you got your taste and you kind of, I don't know if this is the case. I think I
Hmm.
mentioned before, I'm not a parent, I'm not a dad yet, but like I can imagine myself being so excited to show my kid whatever and then have them love it like I love it, and then
Yeah.
just be completely shattered when they're like, nah, this is shit. Not
Yeah, they pretty much shatter that like as soon as they can.
yeah.
And what you do or what I do is like it's like an experiment because I don't want her to just like the things that I like. I'm counting
Right.
on her to bring new shit into my life, you know? So I let her find her music. I'll show her bits and pieces of mine. But then it's like, again, it's that feeling of when they just vibe with what you just put on and you're like, wait, you like this?
Hmm.
It's like, it's just like finding treasure. It's like
Right.
finding treasure. It's like, holy crap, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Especially when they're at the age where you can actually like communicate with them and be like, you
mm-hmm.
know, and share whatever, you know, what
Yep.
they like, what they dislike, and all that kind of stuff, and share those little moments. Like I'm sure when they're like tiny little toddlers, it's just like chaos. But
Oh,
once
yeah,
they
dude.
get to the age where, you know, you can actually like they're actually like a human being and not just like a demon, um,
Yeah.
that's gotta be really nice.
Oh yeah, dude. And she's just I mean, she's growing so quick. Like she likes games. It might what you call it, make me look like a bad parent, but um she plays Diablo with me. And I think the thing is like she's young, she has no idea what she's looking at, and
Right.
plus most of the time on the screen it's just like big explosions and not a lot of gore, you
Right.
know, not a lot of gore. And if there is, you know, we'll look away or whatever.
Mhm.
But like she'll play the same games as me, which is cool. I
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
really
I like
cool. I
it.
mean, as a gamer myself, I'd love my kid to like enjoy games, you know.
Hmm.
Obviously there's a bit of an age for certain games that you have to even though like I've played really violent games at a
Yeah.
really young age. Like I mean, I remember playing GTA when I was like 10, 11, or whatever. I don't
Oh,
even
dude, we
know.
were having Yoshua play GTA when he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
5.
Exactly. And yeah, that's true. So he and I don't know how that's affected him, but um I don't
Is he
know. Like
doing crack? Is he stealing cars?
uh
Oh,
I'm not gonna say comment on that.
hopefully
Um,
not a lot of effect there.
hopefully, yeah. I don't think it was the games though, because it was kind of a recent thing where he started kind of trailing off into more extreme activities. But
Extreme.
yeah, I guess mostly when he was here in Spain.
Is that why he moved?
Um, well, actually, funny enough, I didn't think that's why he moved, but it turned out to be that I found out like a week ago after him being there for like a year that one of the main reasons why he moved. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, you know, I'll be honest with you. Um, for him to make that decision,
Hmm.
and you know, it could have been a loan or whatever, but you know, for him to make that decision, I mean, that's got to show some form of maturity. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
we all
you
thought
know,
that
I'm in a
because
bad.
like my dad also like we had some really tough times with him like in his conduct and behavior, and just because like he started hanging out with the wrong crowds, you know, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and uh because like for example here, like main thing, weed for example in Spain, it's not that it's legal, but it's not as controlled. It's not, they're not as strict with it, right? Like you can have legally, you can have up to like 3 plants per um household member, basically. And you can have your own weed here, like it's completely legal here. Like my dad has a few plants of his own, and
Yeah,
you know and it's all for himself, right? Like he just for his own use. So and like
yeah.
every once in a while he'll smoke, like maybe like after he's done with work for that week or whatever, he'll have one. Um, and so it's pretty
When you're
common here, and you'll find like you go to like different parks, especially at night or whatever, and they're all like a bunch of like teens just chilling out,
Yeah.
smoking. It's not that's not legal because you can't really do it in public. But most
Yeah.
cops kind of just like, they're not gonna. It's
Bust you up.
yeah, because it's kind of it's more for them. It's more of a hassle and like have to like write you up and all that stuff. And unless you're like actually doing something bad, maybe you're going crazy, destroying whatever is around, like trash cans and benches and all that shit, going crazy there, then they'll act and they'll do something about it. But most of the time they might just drive by and maybe they'll be like, y'all go home, but
Yeah.
they're not gonna
Yeah.
write you up, take you in and all that stuff. So
That's
unless
crazy
you
because out
really,
here they'll just shoot you. So
yeah. So it's very
yeah.
different here.
Like, drop the weapon.
Yeah,
And then you're just, you're on 5 o'clock news or whatever.
yeah, and you're
I
holding
used
the
to
bag.
think your parents drank weed all the time with the yerba mate.
Oh yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people
I
thought
used to
that.
I used
Yeah,
to think it was weed all the
no,
time, and I
yeah,
actually went out and I bought.
a lot of people mistake it because of the color, I guess, but yeah, definitely not. It's more like a
Yeah.
coffee or a tea than anything else. It's not.
Oh, dude, I drink yerba mate today. I have
Mm.
I have my own gourd and the metal straw and everything. Like
Oh, for real?
I do, man. I do. Like when we were growing up, I would always see your parents drink it, and I
Hmm.
always wanted some. But like the gourd itself, like, I couldn't just go up to your dad and be like, "Hey, man, can I have a sip of that?"
I mean, you
I'm pretty
could
sure
have
he.
for
That's what
sure.
I'm saying. Like I'm pretty sure at one point in our childhood he gave me a sip of it, but
Probably
like I
like
could
if
have.
kids drink it, it's not like a drug or
Yeah,
anything. It's just like it's like drinking tea or
yeah.
coffee or
It,
whatever.
it's a high like. I don't know if it's highly caffeinated, but it definitely gives you a lot of energy. I
Yeah,
love it.
I don't know if
And
it's
I just
yeah,
remember
I don't know if it's
wanting it.
up par with like coffee, but it's definitely up there. It's I think it's like a little bit more than tea,
Yeah,
but maybe not as much as coffee. So, but
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely something that a lot of people drink just to get
yeah,
a little bit of, especially in the morning, a little bit of
yeah.
an
I
energy.
love it. It reminds me of the good old days hanging out with you and your
Mm.
dad.
Yeah,
So
I actually like because I grew up in the States, I kind of lost that tradition of drinking mate, but like every once in a while I'll go through a phase of like rekindling that and I have my own gourd as well and the straw and everything. Um and so like I'll go through like a phase of like a month drinking mate every day and then
yeah,
I'll just
good shit, man.
I'll lose it again and be like ah. But it's nice. I like it. It's bitter. I like that bitter taste of,
Yeah,
kind of like how coffee or tea has that bitterness to it,
yeah, yeah.
strong bitterness, and yeah, that's nice.
Hell yeah.
Your teeth are
Nah,
all
man.
green and shit, but whatever. Like when
Yeah,
you
better
actually
than
use it,
yellow
true. I guess I don't know.
or brown, like coffee, dude. Like there are people. Like I work in a retail environment, and there are people that would just come in. And it's like 8 in the morning. They're drinking their coffee, everything, and just straight brown teeth. And I'm like, dude, you
Dude,
need
but
to.
like I drink coffee on a daily basis, and I've never had my teeth stained from coffee. And
Yeah, but
I drink espressos, and I drink like uh maybe like a double espresso in the morning and another double espresso after lunch. That's usually
yeah,
my
but
my
the
routine.
coffee culture here is different, man. Like
'Cause you'll
I
be
have a
sipping in
I
like an hour, right, or something like that.
nah, man. You're drinking a pot of coffee.
Yeah,
Like I
but it's
have an
pretty water,
espresso
isn't it?
maker.
Like I remember it being water. I again, I left when I was 18, so like, yeah, sure, I had coffee, but I didn't.
Yeah,
It wasn't like a like a habit of mine drinking coffee. So I
mm.
don't remember like how
No, it's
how
watered down. It's
concentrated
watered
it
down
is. Yeah,
espresso.
yeah,
It's like if you were to take, a double shot of espresso,
and then just add hot
and
water to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think actually they call it the Americano.
Yeah, it's called an Americano here. And that when I first got here, that's what I was used to. So I would always order an Americano. And then like
Interesting.
for like a year or two. And then I was like, all right, let me try an espresso. And I was like,
Oh,
oh
it's
my God,
way better.
yes.
Way better. Way better. I have an espresso maker at my house and a coffee pot. If
Yeah.
I'm trying to I guess just like chill at my house and drink
Mhm.
some coffee, I'm gonna slam the coffee pot, right? But
Right.
if I'm about to go out somewhere, I'm gonna make an espresso shot, pour it in a cup. I personally I do iced coffee.
Mm.
So I'll throw in 2 shots of espresso, throw in a little bit of creamer, and fill the rest of the cup up with ice, shake it up, and then I'm out the door.
Mm.
And it'll give me just enough fuel in the tank, to start my day. But if I'm just at the house, you know, like eating breakfast or whatever, I'm gonna make a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I think it's like because I really enjoy the taste of coffee itself. Like I like the taste,
Hmm.
so I can see that. Like for example, I usually have my coffees at work because my bosses, there's two bosses in my company, and they're Italian, so
Mm.
they're like coffee is religion. Like you got coffee, and then you got Jesus, um,
Yep.
and
Yep.
or sometimes they switch up, depends on the day. But basically, coffee is just another god for them, and so they're very like picky with their coffee and how the coffee is made and all that shit. So I learned a lot about coffee just from my time working here. And so like every morning we have it's like tradition, we all have an espresso. Like we all wait for everybody to be in the office, like all the ones that drink coffee at least, and then we
Hmm.
all just do a round of coffee each,
Yep.
and they have their espresso. I usually take a double espresso. Sometimes I join them with just a single shot of espresso, but and yeah, we just you sip it like it's really like a shot of coffee. You just kind of
Yeah.
down it in one go,
Yeah.
and that's enough. You got that coffee taste, you got that coffee smell, and the whole like environment, the whole office smells like coffee, and you're just you get to work, and it's super cool. I really enjoy that, like that morning coffee. That one really hits the spot, and I guess it kind of feels like when I think about it, it kind of like I can kind of understand like smokers, like people that smoke
Yeah.
tobacco, like cigarettes and stuff. Like I can kind of get it, like
Well, see, I
when
was
you
just about to tell you
yeah.
about like the groundbreaking science experiment. You know, nicotine and caffeine create
Mm.
dopamine. It's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
enes, bro.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's true, and you can kind of you can tell like I can't. It's not that I can't go on, like I can't do what I got to do that day without drinking coffee, but I do miss it. Like
Yeah.
the other day, I woke up. I was in Madrid on Thursday and Friday. I had to fly to Madrid uh, to do some stuff at the well, because it's the capital. So there's
Uh-huh.
some things that you have to go into the capital to do. And like I woke up on Friday morning. I had an appointment to go to at like 9 a.m. I didn't have time to grab a coffee or anything. And I was just sitting there like in line, waiting in queue, waiting for me to be called and whatever. And I was just sitting there like, damn, I didn't have my coffee. And I feel
Yeah.
like I need that coffee now. Like I wasn't like sleepy or tired or drowsy or anything, but like that I need that taste of coffee. I need that running through my veins.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
but I don't get cranky or anything. Like I know people do, like like don't talk to me until I've had my coffee, and they get T-shirts with that and all that shit. But I don't do that. But I do miss it when I don't have it for sure.
Yeah. Nah, man. Caffeine, at least the level that I consume it on, is a hard addiction. Because I cannot have a day without caffeine. I get
Mm,
horrible migraines.
damn,
I do get pissed off. I get snappy.
really?
Yeah, man. So like right now, I'm trying to like wean myself off of it, right? That's
Yeah,
why I'm
dude.
doing a lot of tea. Um,
Okay.
because it's not so much as like oh, I need the actual taste of coffee, or I need the taste of an energy drink. Right now, I'm just drinking it to drink it, not because I
Mm,
need it. So like, just for like, so you can see, I guess, kind of how bad it is.
mhm.
We have, what pre-workout is, right?
Yeah, of
Everybody
course.
knows what pre-workout is. So you
Yeah.
take pre-workout. So they basically sell pre-workout in a can. All right. I will go through 3 or 4 of those cans on one work shift.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm talking just unprecedented amounts of caffeine in my body at any given
Yeah.
time. So when I started noticing, like, oh my God, I just feel like shit. I don't want to wake up. I don't want to do anything. And then when I get home, all I want to do is sleep. And that's when I'm like, all right. That's when I went out and I bought a coffee pot. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee in the morning. And if I have to, I'm gonna drink a energy drink, but only one at work.
Hmm.
And then if I make it through the entire day on that, I might treat myself to one energy drink on my ride home. I have an hour drive home.
Mm.
And then when I get home, if I need it, I'm gonna drink some coffee. right?
Damn, dude.
And yeah, dude, like it gets so
Shoot that up
bad.
your
And
vein, dude. Damn.
I'm telling you, man, like I just as a American man, my body runs solely
On
on
drugs and
nicotine
oh,
first.
okay, yeah.
Nicotine first, then it's caffeine, and then it's just copious amounts of stress. And then I get home and I sleep that shit off. I wake up and I do it all over again until the
It's
weekend.
kind of crazy to think that low, because like I said, here there's a big coffee culture. Italy
Yeah,
has a huge coffee culture for sure. Yet
yeah,
you don't hear about like they drink coffee like at all time. Like like I said, my two of my bosses are Italian, and then I got another coworker that's Italian, and dude, he drinks easily like 5 or 6 shots of espresso a day, like throughout just at work. I'm like, how the hell
yeah.
do you do that? How do you sleep at night? And he's like, no, I
Well,
mean, it's just like it's just a little sip, and yeah, it's more concentrated, but because it's such a small amount, if you add it up, I don't know if it reaches that like it doesn't go over that threshold of like way too much caffeine per day. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like right on that limit of way too much. But in your case, if you're adding energy drinks on top of that, hell no, dude.
oh yeah,
I
dude.
haven't had
Like,
energy drinks in like years. I don't even know.
but see, the thing is like there's a lot of like science behind it because there are people that are like me because I mean, there are people like me where their body or whatever does not process caffeine the same way as like yours does, and all across all different types of people. Supposedly,
Mhm.
there's like three types where there's the type where they drink it, they get sick, they drink it, or they'll drink it and then they will get the little boost they need, and they go, and then there's the type of people that like their bodies just don't even process it. You know what I mean? Like they
Um,
need a substantial amount.
Honestly, I don't really think I notice much of a difference in my energy levels when I drink coffee.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think
See?
it's like I love the taste of it, and that's usually why I drink it. Like most of the time, I drink it just because I like the taste of it, and it's
Yeah.
part of my habit. It's part of my like day to day, routine,
Yeah.
and so that's why I drink coffee. I don't find that it really gives me a boost to where I'm like, damn, I really need this every day. Because, like I said earlier, like even though I didn't have my coffee, I wasn't like sleepy or anything. I missed it because I missed
Yeah.
that taste, and like it happens like after I have lunch, same thing. Like I want that. I have that craving for coffee just because I guess that bitterness and all that, like that, just kind of like whatever I had for lunch. That bitterness kind of like neutralizes whatever aftertaste or
Yeah.
whatever I could have, and then and it kind of sets me off for the rest of the afternoon. But that's usually around like 3-ish, maybe 4 at latest.
Oh,
Um,
dude, I'm starting my day with 300 milligrams of caffeine. Like I'm ready to rock
Damn.
at any given point in time.
Mm,
It's just, I mean that's just how I've been, and I've been living like that for a long time.
damn.
So,
Dude, I don't know. Like I had a buddy that like what he would do is like once I think he did it like every February because it's the shortest month of the year.
mhm,
He would just not drink coffee for that whole month.
yeah, I try to
Um,
do that with like a
yeah.
bunch of bad habits that I have.
And it worked
But
out for him at least, but I don't know, dude. Like I at least get rid of the energy drinks, dude. Like that.
oh yeah,
Not only
well,
because of
dude,
the like the
that's the
amount of
hardest thing to
caffeine,
do, man.
but like
Like,
why? Like all that
oh
shit.
my god, because they taste like magic, dude. Do you know which one I get? It tastes like Skittles. Then they have Starburst flavor. Then they have like the orange slice
Mm,
flavor. It's ridiculous. It's like vapes. How
dude,
people were talking about how vapes
have a
get
coffee and then Skittles. I don't know.
have some candy on top of that.
Yeah,
It's just crazy. But then the thing is like I won't eat all day. You
mhm,
know, and I know it is just wrecking my body. I have to figure out a
yeah,
balance. You know what I mean? But it's just I can't eat at work because if I eat at work, I'm less productive. So I won't eat all day, 7:30 to 5. I'll eat around 6:30 when I get home, and then probably something again around 9 or 10 o'clock, just depending on how the dinner was. I might have like, oh, I want a little bit more rice, and I'll eat some rice or something.
mm.
But it can't be good, is what I'm saying. Like it cannot be good. Um, But the energy drinks, they're treating energy drinks the same way they do with vapes. Like there's like this huge thing. Um, like I'm sitting here looking at mine. It's called double dipped apple ice.
God,
You know,
what?
and they make
They're
these
gonna come out with
flavors that are,
lasagna flavor. They're gonna come out with tiramisu flavor,
well, the thing is like they make these
ravioli
flavors
with
so that
parsley.
people will buy them, and then the younger people will buy them. So all these little kids were vaping because it's like gummy bear flavor blast, and it's like, holy shit, I want that.
Mm,
You know, so like this just extreme packaging that just looks so good to your eye.
yeah,
That's what they capitalize on. You
damn,
know,
dude. Marketing,
but
man.
dude, I wanted to be a marketer so bad, but I cannot prey on. I just can't do it. I can't.
Yeah.
I feel guilty. You know.
Nah, dude. I mean, like the fact. I mean, at least you're able to recognize when you're the prey, right? Like,
Oh
because some
yeah,
people don't even realize when marketing's really like. I mean, when they fall for whatever ad that they click on, whatever, like when they don't notice like how scared, like I talk about it, and I'm sure maybe you've had this instance, I'm sure everybody has, where like you're talking about something with some friends or whatever, and then you get on your phone a couple hours later or whatever, and you see an ad for whatever you were talking about.
oh yeah.
That, I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but that's happened to me a few times, and it's kind of scary because like, what are they listening to us, or is it just like that much of a coincidence? How did that ad reach me if I hadn't searched anything? All we did was just talk about it, like, just recently.
Oh
Like
yeah, dude.
I'm not exactly sure how that works, and I would love to just like do a little, maybe like a course or whatever on like how that works, and just to understand it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
because I'm one of those people that like it. If I don't know something, I just Google it, and I want to figure out whatever
It could
whatever I
be
don't know.
something to where
Yeah,
they just like your search history is in line with the same people that search for this thing. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
but what always gets me is like we'll do these podcasts, right? And depending on what we talk about, I guarantee you I'm gonna see a TikTok or an ad about it on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
So like I'll probably get some like yerba mate ads. I'll probably get some just different things. Like Halloween, I got a bunch of candy ads after we were talking about some stuff.
okay. But see,
But
that one I can. All right, like because it's Halloween, maybe they'll give you.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But for example, right, like this December, Natalia and I are going to Finland. We're going to see the Northern Lights and all that.
Hell yeah.
um, which I'm sure as we'll get closer or right after our trip, I'll definitely give you a rundown on how that went. But that's early December, so from the 6th to the 9th, I think we're going.
Nice.
And so like already, like I just opened up my phone, right, and I'm on the YouTube app, and I got this ad for a like a ski jacket, like one of those
Mm-hmm.
North Face kind of, and I hadn't talked about it. Like it's not
Yep.
like I was talking about it now, like until right now, but like
They
earlier
just know.
today we were talking about it, like
Yeah.
with Natalia. We were just like talking with her dad or whatever, and we were talking about that trip. And now I'm getting an ad on that. Now I
Yep.
don't know if that's just paranoia, if that's just me
Oh
looking
nah,
too much
dude.
into it.
No,
But
that's
I
real.
don't know.
Like there have been so many lawsuits about it. Like I know there were bits and pieces of that on Facebook. There like
Mm,
Zuck was in court looking like a fucking alien for like a year. It felt like
yeah, yeah, I remember that.
um, just trying to address these concerns of how people use our um, social media or just whatever's
Hmm.
going on. Like your phones are always listening to you, and I know it's happening across the world. Like there's
Yeah,
no way it's not. And they use that information to get you to buy stuff. Which on one hand, okay, cool. Like maybe you did need a new jacket, and now you're getting new jacket ads. Sometimes I need a new damn wallet, and I never see an ad for good wallets. So
that's
I'm
true.
just stuck with what they give me on
But like, okay,
Amazon.
how are you someone that actually like buys into those ads, like literally, like because
Nah,
I always get ads and I never click on them.
Nah, it's always like I always just immediately jump into like this is clickbait, this is a scam,
Right.
this
Yeah.
is
Same.
something, something, something. You know, like I'm
Yeah.
always, I'm very skeptical whenever I
It's
see ads.
the only thing, like when I do see an ad, maybe I like see an ad and then like I see the name of the product or whatever, and then maybe it's something that does kind of pique my interest a little bit. But instead of clicking on the ad, I just like go on Google and be like, I search for whatever.
Yeah,
Like let's say okay, like a jacket, like one of these jackets, uh, and then I'll look and see if I can find something like be it on Amazon or on the official page if it's like North Face or whatever brand. Um, but I don't ever click on the ads. I don't want
yeah,
to, play their game.
right. Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it too. I know every December I get a new pair of boots, like just work
Mm,
boots or whatever.
right.
And usually around this time, I start getting a bunch of ads for like Thursday boots and just
Yeah.
all these different companies. And I saw Thursday Boots on TikTok, and I'm like, okay, let me look into this. And they have like very good marketing, very good advertising, everything like that. I bought a pair of their boots based on a lot of those reviews and everything like that. They're
Hmm.
good boots, but they're not what they're marketed to be. So, like,
Right.
ever since then, I'm just always like leery on like, okay,
Mm.
I'm seeing this. I'm gonna go with like the tried and true, you know.
Do you get like off brands or what do you get? Like,
So I go for there's a huge like I don't know. It might be in Spain too, but there's a company called Ariat.
nope.
They are like the best. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like they're the best of the best. And there will be a lot of people that are like, nah, if you buy Ariats, you should be buying Red Wings and all that. Like they're basically what you would get if you had the money to get work boots, you know.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll usually get Ariats or I'll get Red Wings. And then this one time I was like, well, let me try something new. These are
So
handmade.
wait, these areas are like some cowboy, like Red Dead Redemption 4 type boots. What is this?
Though those are indeed the boots that I wear in
Okay.
everyday life. If you go look at Thursday boots,
Hmm.
they have a lot of really attractive
I, would-
styles. And there's this one, I think it's called
I
the
like the
cap.
Thursday boots a little bit more, like the style.
Yeah, yeah, so like that's the thing is you have to decide between like, okay, do you want functional or fashionable?
Right.
And I am functional all the way. Those are
Yeah.
air out boots
Hmm.
all day long, dude. You're comfortable. They don't absorb all that sweat and they don't stink out your house. With the Thursday boots, they look really good, but I wear through them way too fast.
See, I'm not a big boot wearer, to be honest.
That's what's
I'm
wrong with you.
I mean, look, I wear like just normal like sneakers and I wear them till they're just done with life. Like they get to a point where they're like, nah, we're done here. And they don't even let me put them on. But that's how much I like use my shoes or most of them like sneakers. Like for example, like I did a 18K run, trail run.
Hmm.
So up mountains and shit. With like these just regular ass Adidas like running shoes that they were meant for like flat asphalt type running,
Yeah.
and I used them for trail running. I
Hmm.
showed up to that race and everybody was looking at my shoes like, oh God, what is
You
this?
about to
What
die,
is
boy.
yeah, what is this boy doing? And sure enough, like I felt it. And they're like kind of ripped up a bit and all that. And I
Yeah.
just I don't know. I guess it's because of how I was raised, where like we didn't really have much, and whatever we did have, we'd have to use it until it, like I said, like until it was just like it can't anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
But see, that's the thing. Like the all around shoes that I've just always worn,
mhm.
regardless, were just Chuck Taylors,
Right?
Converse.
Yeah, yeah.
You can run a mile in those things. You can run a trail in those things. I'm pretty sure I wrestled in them. I'm pretty sure I played football in them. They were just like the most versatile. But then as I got older and realized that I was running through my shoes, I
Right.
just I'm like I'm gonna go buy boots. It's like buying a like a heavy duty tire for your car. and I'm like, let me just get these, and hopefully it'll lower my shoe expenses.
Yeah, especially
Because
like
a good,
in the fall and the winter.
yeah,
I wouldn't mind wearing some boots.
yeah,
Um,
like a good pair of boots, dude. They'll last you 5 years.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like imagine how much money you spend in 5 years just on shoes. You
I mean,
know,
not
like
much. I might pay like $30 for a pair of shoes and just wear them for like 4 years, man. Like I said, man,
damn.
mine are just like until the sole starts coming off their like the the side of the shoe and that like, oh yeah,
What I
like
want to know is does your back hurt when you get up in the morning?
hell no.
Damn, bro.
Cause
I
I
don't
do
know.
my
You
stretch.
might be onto something there. Everybody here, like, because like America, we're all just like fat and shit. Everybody blames our back problems on our shoes, so we all buy different shoes all the time.
That might just
So,
be the shoe companies trying to like get that
oh
rumor.
yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I think I never had like any like pain or anything like that, and they're not like crappy ass shoes. Like I don't go to like the equivalent of Walmart and get shoes. But I
damn,
don't know
bro,
if
you
you know
just threw so much shade on Walmart. Like they've
um
come up. They've come
have
up.
they?
Okay.
Okay, I don't know.
They have, dude. I have a pair of Walmart flip flops that I wear.
Okay, Walmart. Okay, flip flops are fine. Like I go to, that's fine. Like I trust me. Like my flip flops are from well here. Okay, I know this is gonna sound kind of not racist, but slightly. So here in Spain, because it's not as how can I put this?
Just say it, bro.
Like okay, like diversity is new in Spain, relatively new. What I mean is like maybe in the last 20, 30 years is when there's more like diversity. So, for example, Asians here are pretty much all fob, fresh off the boat, most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're kind of like now that I've been here for like 12 years, like I'm starting to see like first generation Asians being like born here. Most of them are Chinese, like there's not a lot of like Koreans or anything like that. So there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of Asians here that are they just got here, they don't know a lick of Spanish. And maybe their kids will start, you know, getting more into the like I guess immersed into the Spanish culture. Okay, but it's not because Spanish people are racist towards them. It's just like it's new. Like it's not something that in America it's been for like hundreds of years, maybe. You know, first
No, it's just new. They're
yeah,
just new. We don't know.
exactly.
You know?
And same
Yeah.
thing with like people that come from Africa, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that come here from like Senegal and like Ghana and all that, and they just got here. So a lot of them do things that well what you do when you first get here. A lot of them, for example, people that just come straight out of Africa, they like sub-Saharan Africa, they sell like knockoff brand shoes and shirts and all that stuff at the beach. Like they get a blanket, they put all their products on there, like your Gucci and your Prada, but maybe they're called Bucci and Drada.
Nice.
And they just do that. And then when the cops come around, they pull these strings so that the blanket like closes up like Santa Claus, you know, like into like a little bag, and then they start running. And that's what they do.
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yes, that is what most Africans that live in Spain do nowadays. Again, now just in the last, I want to say like last 2-3 years, maybe a little bit more, you're starting to see like their kids, like these people, their kids starting to go like to school with other, like other Spanish kids. And so eventually, I say like maybe in like 10 years, maybe 15, maybe 20, you're gonna start seeing that like diversity actually like immersed into like everyday culture. You know what I'm saying? So but it's still so new that you don't see it. And when I first got here, like 12 years ago, it was so strange because like everybody was white. Well, I mean Spanish, but Spanish people
Yeah.
are white. They're European. So it's not like a lot of maybe listeners will be like, "Oh, Spanish people are like Mexicans." No, different.
No.
Way different.
No. Not
um,
those guys.
not them. So but like they like I would like go to a bank, go to whatever store, and you wouldn't see people other than like Spanish people.
Yeah.
To me, that was a little bit strange because I just came from America, where like you'd see every ethnicity working at wherever you went. Like there wasn't like and same thing like in school, right? You'd have kids from all over the place. So here it's still pretty new. It's getting to the point where it's like pretty diverse. It's starting to get diverse. Like you start noticing it, a little bit more. Where like there's
Yeah.
more like kids from like most of them. I'm not saying Chinese just to like generalize, but really like statistically most of them are Chinese. Like I've never met a Korean person or a Japanese person or a Vietnamese person or anybody here. They're all Chinese. Like I would ask them and they're like, yeah, from China. Like, and they would say whatever city. So they're all Chinese. I'm not sure why, but they're all Chinese. And so what do their parents do? Like the first I guess wave of immigrants, they usually open up a store, like a $1 store, like a dollar store.
Nice.
Where they sell cheap products. Usually, they import whatever they got from China, and they just sell them. Like whatever you like, little knickknacks and little you need to find. Like I said, like cheap flip flops. You go to they call them the Chinese store, and you go there, and it's Chinese owned, and they have cheap shit. And you get them.
And then that's where you get your flip flops.
That's where I get my flip flops. Cause I mean, I'm not going to, and like usually they have the little, like, whatever brand you may think of, like what are called? The Brazilian ones. What are they called? The Havaianas.
What the fuck?
Never heard of them?
No, I don't know them.
Okay. Well, they have a little like Brazilian flag on them. And
I brought the great values, brother. The George. Do you remember George?
George who?
You don't remember? You don't know George, man? That's like Walmart's like fashion brand. George.
I don't remember that.
Fashion on a budget.
George Walmart. But anyways, just so you get an idea of what it's like living here, that's what you got. And so like Chinese open up stores and they sell shit, or they open up little like bars or cafes where they just sell like sandwiches, beers, and coffee. That's
so what I'm curious about is like diversity is new over there, right?
Yes.
And we all know it's not new in America. America was the place to go. If you're different and you need a new home, you're going to America, right?
That's right.
At least back then.
Mm-hmm.
How far is Spain? Like, because like eventually those kids, like generations that are going to be born in Spain, how mad are they going to be at how their livelihoods and their ancestors or whatever? How mad are they going to be?
Well, here's the thing. Spain didn't have slaves.
No, they just sold them.
That's what I'm saying. Like slaves didn't exist in Spain. You know what I'm saying? Like as Spain being a country, like yeah, sure they traded slaves just like the Portuguese, just like the British, just like the French, just like the Americans, like most the Dutch. So most European countries, empires, when they were like empires or whatever, they all traded with slaves, but slaves never actually like existed in Spain, unless you're talking, if you go way back to Hispania when it was the Roman Empire. And I'm not counting that because that's like way before even Spanish was a thing. So but like Spanish as Spain as a country, it never had slaves in Spain.
Well, what I'm referring to is more like current things. So like right now, the big thing in America is systematic oppression.
Yeah.
Well, so how much of that is going on there?
Well, here's a interesting thing that I was actually like thinking about the other day. Like I remember when I was a kid, in America, like in school, and we would have to do like a little census thing where we would have to, like you'd have to fill out this form where you would say like what you identify as in terms of like ethnicity, and like you'd have like different options like Caucasian, Hispanic, African American, whatever. That doesn't exist here. Like you don't do that. Not at school, not as like a adult, nowhere. Like there's no like nothing you will fill out for the government, for school, for whatever, for any job application, nothing. Ever.
Well, couldn't that be because
you are?
Yeah, because couldn't that be because like it's new? Like the reason it was doing it when we were kids is to make sure or maybe not make sure, I don't know, that everybody was receiving like an equal
But at the
like
same time,
education.
the fact that but at the same time, you're asking what that person is, so it's easier to say, "Oh, this one is Hispanic, so let's not give this person a scholarship." Or if you're filling out I don't
Well,
know.
they're the main ones, you know, like they just like here, at least when I was in school,
Mhm.
when they want to make sure that they're not giving the whites the scholarships. Like we don't
Okay,
get
yeah,
a
no,
whole
no,
lot of
but
scholarships.
that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a bit of like a reverse racism going on there. Like the fact that you have to point out or declare what you identify as, that makes it easier to play with that. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
knowing what
But
you
how
are, it's
far?
easier to play with it, be it in your favor or against you. But it's easier
So
to look
basically,
at.
you guys aren't that like you guys are far away from civil unrest. Basically,
Yeah. Like I'm sure. I mean, I'm speaking as a light skinned or white. I would say because I mean, you know me. I'm white. I'm not. I identify as quote unquote Hispanic because I was born in Uruguay, which is Latin America. But if you go to Uruguay, they're all like white because they're all European. They're all Italian and Spanish. That's about it. So
yeah.
it's kind of weird as a Uruguayan or Argentinian to say that they're Hispanic because when you think Hispanic, you might think like a little darker skin tone, dark hair, all that kind of stuff. But that's not what Uruguayans and Argentinians look like normally.
Yeah.
You have your exceptions, obviously, but that's not what they look like. So here, as a white male, okay, which is already that's controversial saying that a white straight male. Um, I can't really speak for other people, but I see like that. I have, for example, I have a coworker that is African. He's from Gambia,
Uh huh.
um, and I'm sure he's probably had interactions with people that might not be too fond or whatever, but normally there's not a discussion about like race and all that. Like there's not something there's not like that civil social unrest that you were kind of mentioning earlier where like,
Yeah.
oh, the blacks are doing this and the whites are like, there's not that. um
Not yet. It
no,
happens.
but here's the thing, there is a little bit with what they call here the Moors, and that's
Okay.
Moors. Because, as you may know, Spain was part of Al Andalus, which was a Arabic empire, I guess, kingdom, whatever, where for like hundreds and hundreds of years, for so many centuries, um, this Arabic kingdom, or I don't know if it was an empire, so I'm not saying, but whatever, they were ruling all over basically the Iberian Peninsula, except for maybe the little bit of like north of Spain. All that was Arabic, and it was
Uh huh.
all part of Al Andalus. And they so for hundreds and hundreds of years, all the Spanish were ruled over by the Arabs, and so and I'm talking like I think like 800 years. So it was for a while. So
Yeah.
there's a little bit after the Reconquista, maybe you heard about that, where like they had the Reconquistadors and everything. Not the conquistadors in Latin America, but here in Spain, where they went after all the Arabs and all that stuff, and they were converting the whole country or the whole land into Catholic. So after
So like the
that,
Crusades, basically.
kind of, yeah, like that. So there's a bit of animosity between the Spanish Catholics and especially the people from Morocco, so the Moors. So there's a
Interesting.
little bit of racism towards them. um,
Yeah.
there's a large population of Moors in Spain, and most of them kind of have their own like separate culture. You might find them working at a bank or whatever, but not as much. They usually keep to themselves, and they usually have their own businesses and their own stuff. Not systematically, mind you. It's not like the government and the law says they can't do this or they can't do that. There's no there's no laws that say an Arab person can't do this, but it's just like they've always done this and Spanish have always done that. And so
Interesting.
there are sometimes some conflicts between large groups of Moors, usually from Morocco, and Spanish people. So it's kind of usually right wing Spanish, obviously, because that's usually how it plays out. Right wings usually are against everything that's not, whatever they are.
Oh.
It's true.
Oh, goodness gracious. That is a take. That is a take.
Dude, we've talked about it. I'm right in the center, but extreme right. But wait, that goes the same for leftists, obviously. Like extreme left.
If you're at one end or the other,
Yeah.
you can be extreme.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying.
I
Like,
agree.
extremist,
I agree.
I should have maybe worded it with extremist, but usually it's here in Spain at least is usually the right
You're
wing.
gonna cause a fucking riot.
No, I'm not.
No,
You gotta think though, like what America's right wing is compared to Spain's right wing is completely different, almost. Like
I think everybody has just. I think this is all like between the right and the left over here. It's just a joke. It's a joke. They have swapped on so many things. Like,
for sure.
Like what is it? We'll probably have to get into that in a different episode.
Yeah,
that one
I just
there
wanted to
nuts.
give you a little bit of an overview of what it's like here, and not really sure how we got to that. Oh, because I was explaining where I get my flip flops. So yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy how that just spiraled into. That's interesting though, man. I didn't know that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know what you just shared. Because the thing is like, the truth is, a lot of Americans, we have no idea what's going on in the world. We only know what we're told, right?
It's understandable. It's a big country. The U.S. is a big country, and it's easy to be self-centered when you're so big and you're powerful and everything. And so it's understandable to not be like, to not even know or be aware of like what's going on in the rest of the world. It's understandable.
Oh yeah,
like, I could see that.
Well, I feel like they should know more. And then maybe they'd feel less bad. Just in general, whether it's minority, majority type of thing, like to know that it's going on in the rest of the world, and then that diversity is still a new thing in different countries, like whether that be, whatever it is,
it's gonna be interesting. Stuff. Like I said, since I've been here for so long, maybe half a generation, it's gonna be interesting when I see how the new generation, comes up and how that changes. Because from seeing it like in the very beginning, I guess, or not the very beginning, but at least towards the beginning of what it's like to have that diversity. It's really interesting because nowadays I do see other cultures working at retail and not because before they were prohibited. It's just there weren't a lot of them, and so they weren't there. But now, like I said, like one of my coworkers is black, and I would never, and I'm saying black as in like he's from sub-Saharan Africa. He's from Gambia. And you got I have Latinos as well, and Natalia's cousin, she's Chinese. She was adopted, but she's Chinese, and so she'll get married or whatever, and maybe have kids, and they'll be either mixed or not, and then that's a new generation that's going to be more diverse. It's really interesting, and I think most people are pretty open to it because it's new, but it's new in a social environment where it's not new. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, in TV or movies or whatever, you see already, like you see so much diversity that because it's new now, it's more widely accepted maybe. And because there's not those like connotations of, how America went through like slavery and then all that stuff, there's not that to where people from other cultures might feel like, always they, I don't want to say like victimized, but they don't feel like a victim because they've never been victimized to that kind of stuff. It's a little bit easier for Spain to get adapted to the whole diverse thing because it's new for them, but not new for the rest of the world, I think.
Yeah. So interesting. Okay.
It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that's where I get my flip-flops, at the Chinese store.
That's great. I love how that just turned into that's great. So
we'll finish
I
this one up, I
guess.
guess, with that.
Yeah.
Where do
So
you
I
get your flip
guess
flops?
from Walmart, they're George's. Um, so as we end every podcast, given the topic that we were just talking about, I do want to end on a question for you there. So, trying to figure out how to phrase it. So basically, systematic oppression does not exist in your country yet. What steps would you take to prevent that from happening so it doesn't end up like systematic oppression here in America?
I think
yeah,
it's hard. I think I understand your question for sure. But like, I don't think it's gonna get to the point where it's systematic oppression just because of the history or the lack of history in this case, where there wasn't that oppression to a specific culture or ethnicity, except maybe the like I was mentioning earlier, the Moroccans. That's the only place I see a little bit more of that racism. Not from everybody, mind you, but there is some of that, and there's a lot of things you might come here, like you might see here, and that might shock you, but because you might see them with your American eyes, right?
Yeah.
For example, during Easter, people walk around with those white cloaks and they have a pointy hood, right?
Oh,
but that's part of, like, even the ones there, that's part of Catholic tradition. Like, it didn't come from the KKK. It came from
we're not allowed to wear those here anymore. We don't do that.
Okay, but like you might see them here. Like, I first saw them here, I was like, what? But it's just
I will say that Catholicism bred a ton of racism, and a lot of those people that were rocking the all white duds with the pointy dunce cap were burning crosses. They were doing all that stuff.
Yeah, right, but I'm saying the KKK came after. Like, they just took it's like, for example, Hitler taking the swastika.
Yeah.
Right? The swastika existed before.
Yeah.
He just took it and transformed it. And now when you see I was in Bali last summer and I saw swastika and I was like, what? And then I remembered it was a Hindu symbol and it means like peace.
So what are you gonna do to keep your eyes open? I like just to, because the thing is like, they always say you want to stop the fire or stop the bleeding, right, before it gets any worse. So like, how are you going to keep your eyes open to make sure, like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Honestly, I don't think the fact that ethnicity is not something that's mentioned basically anywhere else besides America, to be honest. Like, in South America, here in Europe, people don't talk about ethnicities. We don't talk about, like, what, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard, like, to explain unless you live it, firsthand, and you see it for yourself. Like, people don't go around thinking like, oh, you're black, so you got to do, no, like, there might be like, I'm not black, I'm from Gambia, or I'm not black, I'm from Senegal. Like, that's, what do you mean I'm black? I'm just from this country, like, whatever country they may be from. Like, they don't think about ethnicity. Like, earlier during my whole explanation, I was like referring to like black or Chinese or whatever, but that's just like because it's where they were from, or trying to put it into context so like it would be easier to understand. But most people here don't. Most people, I mean, I think everybody, like, they don't really talk about ethnicity. They talk about what country they're from, maybe. But that's about it. Like, they're like, "Oh, are you Hispanic?" I'm like, I've never been asked that.
Yeah.
I might be asked, "Oh, are you Argentinian?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm from Uruguay," because we're so similar. But that's about it. They don't be like, "Oh, are you Mexican because you're Hispanic?" No.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But that's happened like, I know so many people that have gone through that in America. Where, like,
God.
as soon as they hear Spanish, they're like, "Oh, so you're Mexican."
we don't fucking know.
So that's what I'm saying. But, like, just to kind of finish that off, like, I don't really see a way that it could ever there could ever be some sort of systematic oppression, because there's nothing, there's no tags to ethnicities or cultures like that. Um, Now I'm not saying there aren't, like, I'm not saying racism does not exist. There are, racists for sure, like in every country, I think.
Yeah.
And again, with like the Moroccan people, there's a little bit of tension between some groups and like of Spanish, like extreme right wingers and all that. But it's not something that you see on the news or anything like that. Like, it's not to that point. You know what I'm saying? So
They're not profiting off that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, there's not like a whole like race war or anything like that that's happening. But
Okay.
I might be completely wrong, and maybe in a couple years we'll see something. But I
Yeah.
don't see that happening because it's not something that's like an everyday kind of topic.
So I guess in time, or time will definitely tell. But in the
Or not.
meantime, keep your eyes peeled if those tags start coming up.
Oh yeah, I'll
We
notice
want
it
to know.
for sure.
Well, all right, man. Well, I appreciate you for coming on over.
All right, thanks for having me.
All
We'll
right.
see you all next time.
Peace.
Hasta luego.